Hey, good evening, everybody. Party people in the place to be. Thank you for joining us on the Scabbard tonight. Let's see. What an awful game against Boston. 5-0. Victor Olsen scored a couple goals to make it not close, but to make it not look like a shutout for the second straight game. And of course, what happened to Tage Thompson?
Excuse me just a second. I've got to go pee and then throw up, and because the information is not pleasing. This
Yeah, yeah, that's my governor, Jim Justice. Said that during a press conference, by the way. Yeah, it was an awful game against Boston. Let's get into it. Stat of the night. I guess the only positive ish thing that came out of the Boston game was that Victor Olofsson got his first 2 goals of the season. He's now got 3 points. Um, we'll talk about that in a moment. But the review of the game, the defense failed Levi, especially right out of the gate. There was that first goal by Dalton Heinen, who was in front of the net. Owen Powell was right next to him, didn't do a thing to him, allowed him to get the rebound and put it past Devin Levi. But that being said, Devin Levi was not good. Um, it was a combination. It was a storm of bad things happening to Buffalo, and it seems to happen against the Boston Bruins. And no shame in losing the Boston Bruins. The Bruins are a great team. They're still playing phenomenally, like last season. Um, and I will say that after that second goal, the Sabres did have some good moments with puck possession, moving the puck up and down the ice. We're about to get a good chance, and then the first incident with Tage Thompson happened, where Charlie McAvoy stuck his foot out, caught Tage across the top of his foot. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's a knee, it's this, that." I could tell when that foot kicked out, and McAvoy's blade hit the top of Tage's foot, across the top of the foot and the ankle. That was probably what was wrong with Tage going out the ice. Um, that he came back and looked relatively well after that, I thought was encouraging. And then him on the power play or on the penalty kill, getting hit in the hand with a puck, it turned his hand out. Not how you want to do it with the power play, because that's the least protected part of your arm. When you turn it out, the glove kind of opens up and leaves you vulnerable to injuries like that. And looks like a broken wrist. They haven't really like officially said exactly what it is. It's just listed as an upper body injury. Tage Thompson is now out for, they say, less than 2 months, more than a month. So used to they would say 4 to 6 weeks. That's kind of what I'm looking at with Tage Thompson. I'm thinking back to the time when Max Afinogenov uh, fractured his wrist against, I believe it was Tampa. Still scored a goal after that, but missed about 4 to 6 weeks after that, healing up from that. Again, with Tage, his shot is almost everything. So you want him to heal up. You don't want him to rush back. But it's a dire situation for Buffalo. I think this next month, you know, uh, guys are gonna have to step up. You're gonna if you can make it through the next month playing 500 hockey and getting to, surviving the next month and a half, you can look at it as kind of a success, still put you in playoff positioning for the rest of the season. But if you just let this obliterate you and go on a long losing streak because of this, then we could be eliminated by January 1st. Um, So it's a pivotal time in the Sabres season. Does Kevin Adams go out and get something? I know first thoughts on a lot of, at least people who have a, tangential idea of what Buffalo is and hockey, automatically thought Patrick Kane is the answer. Bring Patrick Kane in. He's getting close to returning. The problem is the Sabres really don't need a center or need a winger, even a scoring winger. We've got scoring. We need somebody who can play center, can win the faceoff, win key faceoffs. Patrick Kane is not that guy. He's a winger. We need somebody who can play center rather than on the wing. Um, if that's if I'm Kevin Adams and I'm thinking about bringing somebody in, I'm contacting maybe San Jose or maybe even Seattle, who have had tough starts to the season. Calgary, any one of these teams that are kind of sinking into the into the sunset early in the season, and seeing what centers they have available and guys that can win key faceoffs. Because we're still going to need that even when Tage Thompson comes back, because Tage is right around a 50% face-off guy. You need somebody on this team that can win about 60% of their face-offs, um, to be confident in putting out there in late game situations and power plays, in penalty kills especially, to win that puck so we can rag some time off the clock. That is what the Sabres don't have. It is clear early in the season, the face-offs is one of the pain points of this franchise. So, um, UPL did look good coming into the game. Can't argue that if I was coaching and putting together tonight's lineup, UPL might get a look for me. I think he did enough in the rest of that game, keeping Boston out of the net, um, and making some confident saves to bring him in. People will say, "Well, what about the Pittsburgh game?" There was maybe one goal, um, the O'Connor goal, that I think, man, UPL just messed up on that one. The Malkin goal going off the helmet, that was just kind of a fluke shot, that went in. You want him to make the save, but okay, sometimes stuff like that happens. Um, but we're not gonna see UPL tonight. It's a very interesting call. So, Victor Olofsson getting 2 goals, great. I'm happy to see him get off the schneid and get those goals. Is it enough? I know I spent the previous episode ragging on Victor Olofsson because I said if he's not scoring, he's kind of worthless in this lineup. He finally scores. Great. Um, can he keep it going? Can he be consistent in scoring? With a guy like Tage Thompson out of the lineup now, his shot becomes the big shot on the power play. Although, curiously enough, Don Granado did not move Olofsson up to the first power play unit. He's still on the second power play unit. JJ Paterka takes over in Tage's spot on that power play. So um, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, Victor Olofsson. Um, we still have some stud guys down in Rochester that might deserve a look before this is all said and done. At least getting Tage Thompson back. But there does seem to be a lot of reticence about bringing those guys up, and I think it's primarily from the defensive standpoint. Are they ready to play defense commensurate with their offensive abilities? Um, that remains to be seen. So, but tonight's opponent, let's close the book on that game. Thankfully, we won't see Boston for a little bit. Um, but we're starting the first of a 3-game road trip. First game is tonight in Winnipeg. We take on the Winnipeg Jets. Then we go Sunday. We're playing Chicago, and on next Wednesday we will be playing in Washington D.C. So taking on the Capitals before returning home the day after Thanksgiving to play the Pittsburgh Penguins. So return match, revenge match, hopefully, and hopefully a little bit better play at home because they're still sucking at home. Um, Perhaps being on the road is going to be good for this team, but they're playing a Winnipeg Jets team that's playing well right now. 8-5-2 and third in the Central Division. They've won 4 of 5 games, including their last game, a 6-3 win against the New Jersey Devils, who have been sliding since Jack Hughes got hurt, who might return tonight. We'll see here in a little bit whether Jack Hughes is back on the ice for the Devils, but they won on Wednesday. Uh, 4 of 5. The only loss was to a very, very good Dallas team. And but they've been a better road team than they have been at home, kind of like the Sabres. And so hopefully the Sabres can take advantage of that. Drew Connor, or I'm sorry, Kyle Connor. Thinking about Drew O'Connor. Kyle Connor leads the team in goals and points. Mark Scheifele in assists, and Connor Hellebuck leads in net for the team. Their backup is Lauren Brossois, both capable goaltenders. And this is a revenge match because tonight's starting goaltender for the Sabres, but we'll get to that in a minute. our projected starting lines for the Winnipeg Jets, the artist formerly known as the Atlanta Thrashers, Kyle Connor with Mark Scheifele and Alex Iafallo, who came over in that Pierre-Luc Dubois trade this summer, and Cole Perfetti, Vladimir Nemesnikov, and Nick Ehlers, Nino Niederreiter, Nino Niederreiter, Noah Lowry, Mason Appleton, Morgan Barron, David Gustafson, and Alex Jonsson Fjallby. This is a former Sabre alert. This guy had a moment with the Sabres. I want to say what 3 preseasons ago. Was claimed off of waivers from the, I believe, the Washington Capitals. It may have been Winnipeg. He's been with the Capitals and Winnipeg Jets organizations a couple times. Sabres claimed him, then tried to sneak him down into Rochester at the end of preseason and was reclaimed. So our lone former Sabre alert is for Mr. Axel Jonsson Fjallby. Um, so watch out for him. He may score on us tonight. The Jets projected defensive pairings. We got Patrick. I'm sorry, not Patrick Morrissey. Josh Morrissey, uh, Dustin DeMello, Dylan Pionk, and Sandberg and Stanley on the other 2 pairings. Of course, watch out for Morrissey. He did get his way into the. I think he finished second in the Norris Trophy vote last season. Had a great season. Scored a storm. Finished second to Eric Carlson. So got to watch out for this guy on the back end. Can put up the points. So, and then of course in net, Connor Hellebuck is going to be the goaltender for the Jets tonight. So we get their top guy, Laurent Brossoit, the backup. Um, and Hellebuck has always played as tough and has been a really top flight goaltender. There's a lot of talk about the Sabres trying to bring him to Buffalo in the offseason, but there really was no movement, no official movement towards that. So the Jets scratches tonight: Heinola on the IR, Gabe Velarde on the IR, and Kupari are on the IR. And won't be seeing action tonight. Velarde was also came over with Iafallo in that PLD trade this summer. The Sabres forward lines tonight for it wasn't Heather Angle, it was Mike Harrington, I believe. Forgot to update that piece. But Jeff Skinner, Dylan Cousins will be taking that Tage Thompson spot on the first line, which concerns me. With Alex Tuck, JJ Paterka, Casey Middlestat, Zach Benson draws back into the lineup as well. Tuck drawing back in the lineup, Benson drawing back into the lineup in the first 2 lines. Gergensons, Krebs, Arposo, and then Greenway has dropped down to the fourth line with Jost and Olafson. Again, if having Victor Olafson on the fourth line, why have him in the lineup? There's got to be guys that you can bring in to skate those minutes. With the returning of Tuck and Benson and Eric Comrie to the lineup, the Sabres have sent down Lucas Rusek back to Rochester. So we won't be seeing him for a while. I thought Rusek did quite well in his stint here with the Sabres. For me, I'd rather have him in the lineup than Olafson if Olafson's going to be on the fourth line. Sabres defensive pairing. We've got Darlene Samuelson, Ryan Johnson with Owen Power, Clifton with Eric Johnson. So we've got those defensive pairings, and in net, returning is Eric Comrie. So putting Comrie against his former team in the Winnipeg Jets. Devin Levi's backing up. So this is a very curious decision for me because, I thought UPL played really well towards the end of the game. Levi, not so much, and didn't have a really good game against the Bruins. And I would think that you would want UPL back there just in case something happens with Comrie, but we're going to have Devin Levi. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Levi is trash or anything. I'm just saying that, I don't know. If you want to create a culture of competition within the team, reward the guy that's had the better outing more recently. Um, and that was UPL to me. So UPL is a healthy scratch tonight, along with Jacob Bryson. Yoki Haru's still kind of day to day ish with sickness. Um, he skated extra after the practice, so he's being held out for one more game. So expecting him to return when we play Chicago on Sunday, and of course Jack Quinn being on long term IR. Tonight's odds per DraftKings: Buffalo getting a goal and a half on the road, and the over under is 6.5. Um, I will tell you, looking at the forward lines, I said the idea that Dylan Cousins being in that first line concerns me. I still think that Dylan Cousins is still trying to get used to wearing the fishbowl, wearing that clear shield on his face. Um, there was a couple of instances during that Boston game. There's pucks that got towards his feet that he completely missed, and I think you can chalk that up to having that fishbowl on your face and not being able to see the puck clearly, especially as it gets closer to you, and if it's in the area where it's not really on tape to tape pass. So plus, Cousins has had issues winning big faceoffs, whether it's on the power play or in key situations. He's like a 48% faceoff guy, which is not horrible. But a lot of times with faceoffs, it's not just that you win a faceoff, it's when you win a faceoff. When there's a key faceoff in the game, whether you're trying to hold a lead or you're trying to get back even in a game, when you're on a power play, rather than spending the first 30 seconds of the power play trying to get back into the zone because you lost the draw, um, you know, Cousins has to get better on the draw. And the hope is that everyone's going to focus their game a little bit more now that Tage Thompson's not there to kind of cover some things up. Um, it doesn't always work out that way, but you're hoping that Cousins can take that next step. We're hoping that Middlestat can continue and really enhance his scoring ability. Um, my hope is that they're going to be a little more shoot first mentality and really more about getting down into that dirty area to score goals because it's just not been good. Um, they've really struggled to score the last few games, and it's really a lot of one and done shooting that has plagued the Sabres. That they don't have people in front to get the rebounds and bang them home. They shoot from outside and it's just swept away and back up the ice the other team goes. So let's see. Got the scratches. Tonight's player profile is Owen Power, second pair defenseman. I did roast him a little bit about his play on that Heinen goal uh, last game out. He's a good guy. And I don't think that, you know, a lot of people are like, well, he's a big guy. He should just crush people. I don't know that it was, he's got defensive abilities. I don't think that the um, Matthias Samuelson game is what we're thinking is his long term projection. Um, yeah, can he use his body to clear out people? Yeah, absolutely. Should Dan Heinen been able to stand in front of the net and take a couple shots on Levi? Yeah, absolutely. We got to clear that guy out. Um, but he's not just a big oaf on skates. He's got tremendous offensive upside. He was drafted, of course, number one overall, second defenseman drafted number one overall in the space of what 4 years for the Sabres. Um, for and signing a long term contract this offseason. People are like, well, he's on a massive contract now. He's not on a massive contract just yet. Power's next contract doesn't kick in until July 1st when the contracts cycle through. He's still on his rookie contract. Um, but still, you're an NHL defenseman. You need to do the things. But he came in for first year. Of course, he gets drafted, spends the first year at Michigan, trying to win a national championship with his team. Gets eliminated in the first game of the Frozen Four. Signs with the Sabres. Plays with the Sabres towards the end of the season. Gets 2 goals and an assist. Last season, he played rather well. I mean, I don't think anybody complained about his play last season. Had 45 points last season. Um, with 4 goals and played I mean, or no, I'm sorry, 35 points with 4 goals and like 31 assists. Uh, Not bad. This season, he is, I think, on a pace to exceed that with a goal and 8 assists, 9 points so far in 16 games for the Sabres. So I expect him to exceed his at least points total, maybe not goals total, but at least points total uh, for the season. Um, and I'm not worried about his development. I mean, I think a lot of people will remember that a lot of people were calling for calling Rasmus Dahlin a bust after the second or third year. Of course, that was also under the Ralph Kruger administration. Um, that just it didn't work for Rasmus Dahlin. Um, I'm not going to roast anybody at this point in their career. This is the second full season for Owen Power. I think he's going to be just fine as he gets closer to the end of this second season. We'll see him pick back up and develop quite nicely. He's a second pairing defenseman at the age of what 21 now. I'm not worried about this guy. So um, but yeah, that's Owen Power, our player profile tonight. Hopefully, he gets some assists. He is a plus on the season, even though he's had a couple stinkers of games. He had a -5 effort a while back, but still is a plus player overall this season. So that's Owen Power. Let's go to on this date for November 17th. This is a good one because it features the Winnipeg Jets, but the original iteration, the ones that are the Arizona Coyotes currently. The November 17th of 1982, 5 players recorded multi-point games, including a 3 assist effort from Sean McKenna as the Sabres won 7-2 over the Jets in Winnipeg, which is where we're at tonight. Not as cold as normal. I think yesterday they said it was like 32 degrees. Uh, and there was a little bit of snow on the ground, but not as bad as could be in Winnipeg. I guess the nice thing about getting up to Winnipeg early on in the season, um, we get the return leg of this series in March, so we won't see Winnipeg back until later in the season. And that's probably right around the trade deadline, probably the first week of March. So we'll see how the teams look at that point. Hopefully, the Sabres are in a solid playoff position at that point. But I got a feeling they're going to be fighting as the whole season. Let's go to. I didn't change my keys to the game from the last one. Be ready from the start. We were down 2-0 before 6 minutes were gone in the game. The I guess the crowd was kind of shocked at how bad it got that early. The Sabres did recover, but honestly, let's go. Let's drop the puck and be ready to go. Don't chase these games because that's a big problem if you're chasing the game, especially if your confidence is kind of shaken at this point. Play disciplined. Um, the less chances you give Winnipeg to get out to a quick start or even a start over the Sabres is playing with danger. So play discipline and simplify the game. Get pucks to the net, get people to the net, create traffic, create difficult situations for Connor Hellebuck. Don't let him get into your head. Even if he starts making saves early in the game, keep at it, keep working hard, and outwork the Jets to get the 2 points in this game. All right, and finally, let's talk about the farm. It's been a rough week for the Sabres and their franchise, and pretty much the entire city of Buffalo. It's been shaken to the core. The Monday night debacle, the Tage Thompson injury, the loss to the Bruins. Even down on the farm, we've been feeling it. Rochester is 7-4-2. They got shut out by Cleveland, the Columbus Blue Jackets top team on Thursday. That is 2 games in a row they've been shut out. They lost to Utica 6-0, so they've been outscored 8-0 in the last 2 games. And return match against the Monsters is on Saturday. Hopefully, getting Rusek back in the lineup, getting kind of a healthy lineup there in Rochester will help the team get back on track because they've gone from first in that division to fourth. Everything's kind of bunched up there, so I'm not too concerned. But you want to stay on top of it because those playoff spots are as long as it stays bunched up, those playoff spots are very precarious. So as for the Jacksonville Icemen, they are 4-3-2 and fifth in the Eastern Conference South Division of the ECHL. They dropped a 3-2 overtime decision to South Carolina, which is Washington's ECHL club, and that was on Wednesday. And tonight they host the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. You gotta love those ECHL nicknames. They're just sometimes hot garbage. Greenville Swamp Rabbits, they're the LA Kings not top farm club, but they're ECHL farm club tonight. And good luck to the Icemen. Good luck to the Sabres. Hopefully the Sabres can turn it around. Again, at the beginning of the season, I said you know how you get to the playoffs. How do you make that 1 point up to get into the playoffs? Stop losing streaks. We've lost 2 in a row. We've had 3 bad games in a row. We're lucky to win that game against the Wild. Stop the losing streaks because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in the same position in you know March and April, scrambling to make up points. Um, and if you can turn what was an 8-game losing streak last season into a 3-game losing streak, and then start getting your play back together, that is only going to help you going down the road. So stack points early in the season, less worry later in the season. So that's the show tonight. I appreciate everybody watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter and Twitch. If you're watching, please give a like, subscribe, a share, whatever you're doing. It really helps us out, helps get the show in front of more people. And if you have any comments, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I love talking to the folks as I do the show. It really help, kind of helps the time go by as well. So I'm not just running. Well, I really will just be running my mouth the whole time, but it gives me something to play off of. So, but anyway, take it easy. Have a great night. We'll talk to everybody 6 p.m. on Sunday night as the Sabres take on the Chicago Blackhawks for another episode of the Scabbard. We'll see everyone then.